Hi there. In this programme we'll look inside the horse racing industry in Ireland to learn all about who the players are, the ones who make it happen. Naturally, when we think of horse racing, we think of the owners, trainers, jockeys and the horses because they're the ones in the public eye. Their hard work is central to the horse racing industry. But there are also more than 16,000 people who work behind the scenes in Ireland, without whom there would be no industry. Apprentice jockeys, stable workers, vets, farriers, feed merchants, racecourse staff, bookies and officials, not to mention all the administration people too. Horse Racing Ireland is the main body in Irish racing, the national authority, just like football has the FAI and rugby has the IRFU. As racing is a big industry in Ireland, as well as a big sport, there is a lot of administration. All the owners and horses in training must be registered. HRI also look after all the entries and declarations, the prize money, they represent Irish racing internationally, they negotiate the media income and the broadcasting rights.
Horse Racing Ireland also own the tote and Irish thoroughbred marketing. On a day-to-day front, HRI look after all the entries and declarations for every race meeting.
The Turf Club is the integrity wing of Irish racing because they ensure that the laws of racing are upheld. On race day, the Turf Club will have many people involved. If there are any disputes or controversies, their decision is final. Once the horse and trainer arrive at the racetrack, they're subject to the rules of the Turf Club. The clerk of the course is the key person, along with the racecourse manager, on race day. The clerk of the course is responsible for the layout of the racetrack, the placement of the fences, the hurdles, and all the safety aspects involved on a race day. And this includes liaising with the Order of Malta ambulances, the on-course doctor, the Blue Cross horse ambulance, and the on-course vet. The clerk of scales weighs the jockeys prior to each race to ensure that the correct weights, colours and numbers are carried. They're also responsible for weighing in the first 5 jockeys after a race. A horse will be disqualified if it carries underweight, but not if it's overweight. The Stipe will review each race with the appointed stewards to see if any breaches of the rules have taken place, such as overuse of the whip or any interference during the race. The starter has control of all the runners at the start of the race. They have responsibility to ensure that the horses get away properly and that there's a fair start. They must keep the races running on time. The judge sits in the judge's box at the time the horses pass the winning post, and they must report to the clerk of the scales the names and the number of the first 5 horses who pass the post. A Turf Club vet is always in attendance on race day. The well-being of the horses is priority, so if there are any signs of a horse needing medical attention or being unfit to run, the vet will decide on the outcome. The vet also checks each of the horses' passports as they arrive at the course. The vet will also test the winning horse to ensure the integrity of the race. The worth of a horse is proven on the racecourse, so the record must show that the results of every race stands up to scrutiny.
On race day at each of our 26 racecourses, the manager and the team make sure that everything is ready for the off. Each racecourse has its own character and style. When you arrive on race day, everything is up and running. You could be forgiven for thinking that everything had been in place forever. All the information you need about race courses is right here on the Go Racing website.
The racecourse team takes care of everything: catering, entertainment, parking, bookie stalls, and getting the race cards, which are printed at last minute to make sure they're right up to date with any changes. Predicting the weather? Well, it's anybody's guess, but it has to be considered too. Pulling all the elements together for a race meeting requires a great deal of experience and hard work. Every race meeting is different. Some are local one-day affairs with their own charm and character, while others, like the Galway, Leopardstown, Listowel and Punchestown festivals, happen over a few days, requiring significant planning and involving hundreds of staff. As with any other sport, the first or Premier Division is where everyone wants to compete. Irish trainers, jockeys and horses have been competing in this division for decades. Teamwork is the key to the horse racing industry, and behind the trainer, horse and jockey, there are at least 20 others supporting them.
The future of the horse racing industry will rely on continuing with top-class breeding and training techniques, and of course the new young apprentice jockeys. Every day there are young, passionate jockeys going through very rigorous and well-structured training programmes. RACE, the Racing Academy and Centre of Education, is responsible for the training and standards set for these future superstar jockeys. It's a tough career, but the rewards are great.
Racing is all about teamwork, right down to the lorry driver. One sudden stop or incident when loading or unloading could injure a horse before it even gets to the track. It's hard to know where to stop when we think about the number of people who are directly and indirectly connected with the horse racing business. On a small race day, there could be 75 to 100 people. On festival days, there could be 1,000 or more. There's a large community of trainers, jockeys, apprentice jockeys, vets, farriers, ambulance drivers, food suppliers, saddle makers, silk suppliers, television companies, news media organisations, bookmakers, journalists, the list goes on.
The sport of Irish horse racing has been growing for many years. Trainers, jockeys and their horses are the ones on the centre stage, and that spotlight is focused and bright, and the stage is solid and strong. As a nation, we love our horse racing, our trainers, our jockeys and our horses.
There are many important players in racing, but the most important one is you, the racegoer, coming from every corner of the country and every level of society. You come for the horses, the chat and to mingle with friends. There's always a great atmosphere on the track, the colour, the buzz and the excitement. It's certainly a fun way to spend the day, and you never know who you might meet. Thanks for watching. Till the next time.